Welcome, everybody. So if you are seeing on Facebook, we're so happy you're joining us here. I am Emily, and this is...
My name is Janell, working teen. I am so glad to be here with you. Streaming live is a new experience, so this will be fun.
Awesome. So Janell actually is super intuitive and really on top of her game in this way. And we were at a training together, and Janell approached me and said, "Hey, I really want to find out more, and I want to work with you." And so I was like, "Great, we're on board." And we found out that we have so many things in common, and we just like click right in place. So for those of you who don't know us, let's introduce ourselves real quick. Janell, you want to go first?
Sure. Like I said, my name is Janell, working teen, and I am an intuitive energetic healer. When I saw Emily at our training, I said, and she was explaining to me what she did, I said, we've got to talk because what you do totally works with what I do, and we have to explore this idea together.
Awesome. And for those of you who don't know me, I also work with the mental and the emotional, but through movement and holistic nutrition. So what we found is that while I'm doing the kind of the more physical aspect, that we're a whole being, right? And so Janell works with this idea of really getting deep down into the depths of your beliefs and in your internal makeup, so that we can pull those beliefs out by the root and then live a more fruitful life. And then I'm on the other side saying, like, okay, now that we've got some beliefs out of the way, let's go ahead and move the body. Let's feed the body with good nutrition so we can have health really on all levels: mental, spiritual, physical, emotional health. So thank you so much, Janell, for reaching out. And it's been such a pleasure getting to know you.
Oh my goodness, Emily, it has been fun. I just am excited about what your work is doing, because being able to dive in using totally non-threatening techniques to help our body rewire it really is that step that is missing. So let's not leave them hanging. Let's give an avatar and an example, so you all on Facebook and that are here with us can understand and enjoy what we're touching on right now. So Emily, who are you working with?
Great. So, I work with people. A lot of them are like busy professional types, but it could be anybody who has really put other things in life ahead of themselves and ahead of their health. So you're busy mom, you're parent, you're busy at work, putting work first, family first, chores first, because let's, be real. This life and this culture that we live in right now is pretty overwhelming, right? And there's constant input. And so what I find is that people put all those things before themselves and don't take care, self-care, nourishment for their bodies, movement for their bodies, good food for their bodies. And sometimes it's a lack of knowledge, just because we've been brought up a certain way, and that's what our parents ate and they survived. And so we're eating those things or those same behaviors now. And then other times it's like, I know I should do better. And this is, I think, most of you. So just, is that you? Which one are you? It's like, oh, I know I should exercise more, or I should do this more, but I just don't have the energy, the time, the bandwidth to do those things. So I really help people jump that barrier into creating a psychological shift that says, this is as important. The exercise is as important as the good food, which is as important as your family and your work and everything else in your life. And I'm really curious, Janell, because this psychological piece is so huge to get to that other side of where your self-worth is there. It is like, this is just as important. How do you work with people to remove those blocks and to jump those hurdles?
Well, it's so interesting, because when we're going to implement and to work on a new behavior, a new eating pattern, a new anything, so something that we're coming up against and going, oh, I want to accomplish, here I am here, and I want to be on this other side of this, emotionally or nutritionally or physically. And yet I hit this spot and I get stopped. What I find is that we have a block there. And that block can be something that is not related to, let's say, somebody just really can't stop taking that candy bar break in the afternoon. They just go to that and they know they're not supposed to, and yet they're just going there. And it's like, it's usually really not about the candy bar. It's really not about what we're trying to change. There's something deeper somewhere when we were growing up, somewhere just from the very beginning, an event happened or a collection of events happened, and that event gets stored in our body. And I've heard people say, oh, I store my stress in my shoulders. Well, yeah, we literally do, or somewhere else in our torso, in our legs, hips, in our neck. Okay, if I'm maybe talking to some of you guys that are with us, if you feel those pains, those are literal imprints of the event themselves. And we store that in our physical body, and those become literal blocks. Sometimes guilt and shame manifests in not being able to have self-control. So we're looking at, okay, here, all these things are out here. They're like, we were talking the other day about that dandelion. All these effects, all these things I'm trying, man, I just can't get past this eating the candy bar. Well, that's an effect. That relates back to like the dandelion flowers growing from the plant themselves. I can go out there and I can cut the top of those off, and for a few days it looks good, but guess what? It keeps coming back. It keeps coming back. It's those behaviors that keep coming back that are signaling to us, Emily, that there's a block in there. What we need to do is go, well, where is that block? Where's that root to that behavior or habit that I want to change? Find that root, get down in the yard with your shovel and dig down deep and pull the whole plant out. Get that root out. And when that root comes out, fill it back in with your dirt. Now we can really move past. No guilt, no shame. Those are all effects. Get those roots out.
Yeah, and plant a new beautiful flower.
Yes.
Exactly. And I think this is so key. I don't know anybody who has tried to create a new habit in their life and didn't fail at some point, right? And we have ways we can move when we want to create something new. We can use our willpower. And I can quite honestly say I have pretty strong willpower. When I really put my mind to it, I'm like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. But at some point that willpower can get weak, but if we're moving from a place of shifted beliefs and having pulled that root out, there's no willpower anymore. Right. It's like, okay, you might need to go back and recheck and recalibrate the new belief. But then it's like, this is actually what's good for me. The salad is what's good for me, not the Snickers bar. And what's quite interesting, which I love, so here you are, Janell, working with the patterning and the blocks and the repatterning of the beliefs. And then we start to, in this case, we're talking about body, no longer dandelions, right? But then we start to feed the body with movement, with self-care, with love. We get new relationships that are more healthy. We feed our body good food. Then we actually start to rewire on a physical level. Mm-hmm. So we're getting that neurological and the physical, because it's not just the brain up here, like our actual gut is also a brain, right? And all that bacteria in there is actually talking to us and demanding things. It demands the candy bar. But when we take out the dandelion by the root, reprogram the beliefs, and then we start planting some new flowers in there, our bodies then respond to that new environment. We've set up new stimulus that's actually turning on new genes. It's reorganizing our gut microbiome. And when that happens, then we crave the salad, not the candy bar. And it's no longer about willpower. It's about creating healthy habits and reorganizing the whole being.
Isn't that beautiful? That's just beautiful. Yeah. And as I'm working with people and we're identifying, okay, where's that root? And there can be several. My own personal story has been about, wow, I had no idea there was so much stuck in there. And you think, how did I even function? I found my patterns were I would get so far in a business adventure, or so far in, let's just stick to business adventure, and a business adventure making money, and I would hit a wall and then just rewrite. And I'm like, what is going on? Everything in my head, everything in my desire wanted to be on the other side. But seriously, it just couldn't get past. It was all related to roots. And what really excited me about connecting with you is that once we get those roots out, and yes, a lot of our stuff is stuck around our digestive system, and it's literally causing it to be less functional. So depending on what's stored around there on the emotional level around that digestive system, it is like putting mud on piano strings. All those all that extra baggage, mud on strings. So is it, when you play that, is it going to play as it was designed to play? Of course not. My work, we're taking that mud off, clean those strings up. But here's the tricky bit, and didn't even really go there in my mind until meeting you, is that we can clean those up, and then we can really dive in, which we should, into healing that digestive system through foods heal, right? Get the right foods for us. Foods heal our digestive system, heal our bodies, or a large player in healing our bodies. But now our nerves have memories. Our nerve has a memory of that pattern, and nerves run our digestive system along with everything else. So if we don't, we do all this work, but we don't reset and do the work to reset the nervous system through what you do, we're still like, we're really close, but are we as far as we can go? No, we need that other piece.
Absolutely. Gosh, I have I'm like, I want to go in so many different directions, but I really want to bring people in, because this idea that you were talking about, of course, about when things just keep happening in our lives. I have 100% experienced that. And, still to this day, we got to be, it's never ending, right? I'm still conscious of like, wait, is that the old pattern, and how things are showing up? So I also had the money thing. And, I also had some of my own trauma from my childhood that was really running decisions in my life, and who was showing up. And those memories were stored in my body. Your trauma could be all kinds of things. I also took a few very large falls as a child, and that programmed things in my life. My father said something to me, and that's reprogramming things into my life. So these are the roots that we're pulling out, right? So I really want everybody who's listening to this to think for a moment, like, wait, what is that? Could that pattern be for me? Right? And when I say the word trauma, and Janell, you can chime in on this, it's not always, oh, I was beat as a child. That's as tragic as that is. A trauma can be an accident, a loved one's death. It could be just a sharp word. Children are so vulnerable, and they take so much in, and just one or two sharp words to a child can actually make a whole entire belief pattern play out. So I'm curious for anybody who's listening to really not just stop listening and actually start thinking like, okay, how does this apply to me and my body and my life, my health, my relationships, my work? Where start getting curious, right?
And really start looking for those things that are replays, because we get used to that, don't we? We get used to, oh, that's my normal, and so it's just in that pattern. Yeah. So where do you see the replay happening? And it's if we can identify, oh, that's my replay, now you're on the journey to healing it. That's step one. And that's not authentically you. It's about getting down to that authentic piece. What are you designed to be and to feel? And that teacher's harsh words, you're right on. I so agree with that. Those teacher's harsh words or something that startled us even as a baby can imprint fear. And you think, okay, that can set that reel going. And we will translate. The interesting thing about roots is it now sets a lens that we look at the next like event, even though it isn't maybe, but it sets a pattern for us in how we interpret the next events in our life too. So we can carry on that thread unintentionally through our whole lives and go, well, people always judge me. People, anytime we're using that dialogue in our minds, always, that's our heads up. There's probably a root there. There's probably a root.
That's a great tool. So I was just thinking, let's get some tools. So focusing on the word, if I use always or never,
there you go.
Like, I never have enough, for example, that's a great clue. The other thing I love, a question, one of my teachers, Dr. Barbara DeAngelis, asked us this question, and it actually transformed my life. And the question is, what are you committed to? Now, that could be looked at a couple different ways. Oh, I'm committed to making more money, like you said before, Janell, but you keep not doing that, right? So you're actually not committed to making more money. You're committed not to make more money, because what is in your life, what's showing up, is actually what you are truly committed to. So if you don't like what's happening, your extra weight or your fatigue or not making enough money, whatever it is, look around. What you have in front of you is what you're committed to. And that is another big clue, right? Okay, well, I'm not a fan of that. So how am I committed to that? Because that's what's showing up for me. And this, to me, rather than feeling disempowering, is actually, for myself and for, I think, people who embrace this idea, is insanely empowering. Because suddenly you're like, your awareness, your consciousness of what's happening in your life is no longer happening to you. You actually have and can change it. You can actually be the driver of your boat or your car, rather than having life just be like, cool, right here. So do you have any other tools for people, Janell, that, like, things that, a little nugget that would help somebody?
Yeah, what came to mind as you were sharing that story and that example is, if that is your story, what voice said that to you in the beginning? Can you take it back? Some of this root removal happens, and that's, my interaction with an individual that supports and helps them get that out in that energetic space. But us individually can ask ourselves, okay, if that's what it is, where did that voice begin? Start using the words, why? Why do I think that? I really want that. I really do want that. But this is what I'm obviously saying subconsciously, probably something in there's making you hit that space and stop. So ask, where did I hear that? Or why do I think that? Well, you'll say something, well, because I don't know how to do that. Okay, well, why can't I do that? Well, why can't I learn that? Well, because when I was in third grade, so-and-so said, well, that was a stupid idea. They didn't, whatever the intention was, we don't know, but it imprinted and go, well, they thought it was a stupid idea. Well, why did you take it on as your idea? Why did you absorb that comment as, was it really a stupid idea? No. Was it a stupid idea? Would you tell your child, now switch roles, would you tell your child that was a stupid idea? And, well, no, it's a beautiful idea. It came from your creativity. Nice. Absorb that. Let that moment go back through questioning yourself why that happened. Okay, where did that come from? Where did that come from? And then when you get there, go, if I was talking to that child, or whatever seems appropriate, but let's stick to that. I was talking to that child. I would say, no, that's from you. Take that in and absorb that emotion. Now go up to your goal. Is this my goal? Yes, it is. Can I do that? Well, heck yeah, I can do that. Right there you go. Help yourself shift that energy into that. Oh yeah, I can do that.
Great. So When you work with clients, how does that look? If somebody comes, if I wanted to come in and work with you, what kind of process do you take people through to help them break through?
It is coming with two people bring an intention. I am really ready to break past that financial barrier. This, like, well, I'm working in my business. I want to get past this. Okay, great. First thing I do is I start going, well, where's your head? What are you talking? Let's talk about where your head is around that. Just like you beautifully explained, what are you really thinking on this subject? And then I go, okay, and I walk people back to that, through that why, or where did that come from? Get down, get down, get down. It often comes from something pretty unrelated to the actual goal. It usually comes from something somebody said. So I just walk them back, and then I go, okay, now we're there. Now let's get you. And I just set people up, and I go, because I'm an intuitive healer. So I say, okay, let me feel in your body, just not by touching your body, but just feel around. Let me feel, where did your body store that memory? Because if I can take out the energetic imprint of that memory and just let it fill back up with you, your personal vibration. Now it's just you there. Now what we need to deal with is talk about, okay, now let's talk about what's rolling in your head, because we're three parts. We're mind, we're body, and we're spirit. So we need to be working and healing in those three spaces. So now that we've taken the vibrational piece, the memory piece out of your body, the scenario, now let's talk about, where is that in your mind? Where are you thinking about that? Does that belong with you? And we have steps that we can walk with somebody and give them a new patterning, working with them as a person. And sometimes it looks like a mantra. Sometimes it looks like a grounding exercise, a meditation that they start their day with. And they start really catching, oh, wait, that's not me. That was third grade teacher. This is me. I am able. And put those building blocks like that together for individuals.
It's so beautiful and wonderful. And, sadly, this planet that we are on, it creates lots of opportunity for us to be more conscious of ourselves. And I love what you say about when we were talking about this metaphor of the dandelion and like the new flowers. Nothing against dandelions. They're actually super healthy for you.
They are.
Like, if you have dandelions in your yard, you should be picking them out and eating them. So they're a little bitter though, I just FYI, but you can make tea. They're really, really good for you. But I love it. So you pull out the root. And this is how Janell and I just so melded, this idea of pull out the root. Janell is a professional, a root puller, right? And then plant something else in, right? What do you want? What are you committed to in your heart that you really want to manifest out into the world, right? And I find how I work with people, right, is then getting the nutrition and the body hooked up as well in with the spirit and the mind, right? So that everything is going together. Because I have also found in my life that, from my own personal experience of that cellular memory, that deep held cellular memory, and I find when we move the body, that we begin to replace, that's how we kind of plant some new seeds, right? And we're moving the body, we get new cells all the time. Every day we get new cells in our body, old ones die, and we replace and we reprogram those new cells with healthier patterns, right? Cool. Is this a good time to move, or Janell, do you have more to add?
I just really want to put a yes, ma'am, on that movement piece, because if we can move and help that body reset, we've taken that root out, like you said, put that flower in, and movement that's non-threatening. Like, it takes, those roots actually cause triggers, emotional triggers. It collected all that, and when that gets pushed, we feel everything. So getting that movement to help the cells and the nerve system reset is beautiful. And that's the piece that I plugged into it, by the way. I did a class with Emily, and I have to tell you, it kicked my butt a little bit. And it was beautiful. I felt the release. So I'm excited to bring our collective group, our collective audience to this experience with you, because it really feels good. And I felt in my hips and my joints a total release, and I felt it for several days after. Nice. And I just did one class. So I'm like, okay, this is something I'm going to plug into. Yeah. Because it made such a difference.
Awesome.
I had more mental clarity. I just had to say that. I forgot to tell you that. I had more mental clarity. I was more flexible for those days. And I did no other stretching. I had that beautiful hour with you. It was good. Really good.
That's awesome. So good to hear. Thanks for the feedback.
Yeah.
And so I do want to get moving.
Okay.
We're going to do a short practice, and Janell is also going to do a grounding session with us as well. So we got some experience going to happen. And I just want to highlight one more quick thing. So the nutrition aspect of it, I came from a pure movement space. I have taught dance, I taught martial arts for many, many years. Came from a pure movement space, yoga. And what Janell did with me was a deep targeted flexibility training class. And our nutrition is so affects that, it's all one big whole. We can't take one piece out and just do the movement, or just do Janell's work, or just do the nutrition. It's everything. Right. And being flexible isn't just about like wowing somebody with a split. It actually is healthy for your body. Your body functions as it should, healthy, when we do those mobility and stretching exercises. So all one big whole, and we just kind of come. You don't have to get crazy about it or overwhelmed about it. It's just a little here and a little there, and we create those new habits, and before you know it, your day is full of all the good stuff, and there's no room for the bad stuff. Right. And our energy starts to come up, our self-love and self-worth starts to come up. And now it's like, when I go a day without taking care of my exercise, I always eat well. That's a hands down. I hardly ever eat anything that I would say is bad for me. I just don't want it. I don't like it. But if I go and get work, and then I do a day without movement, I'm like, that used to be okay, but this is not okay. It's actually unhealthy for me. It's a sign of me putting others before my own health. And I made a decision that was no longer okay, that my health is important, just like we put our own oxygen mask on first before we put the oxygen mask on others. If we're not healthy, we can't serve other people. We can't live to our fullest and to our highest, right? We can't be our authentic, amazing, beautiful selves. And the body and the spirit want that. They want to function in that way. So we just give it the tools, just give it the care. The body does come back into balance, back into harmony. So, if the conversation has overwhelmed you a little bit, it's just one step at a time. And so let's take a step into our movement. Is that good? Okay, let me get this jacket off. And we're actually going to use, since I imagine many people are sitting, we'll use a chair and not a chair. So we'll do both.
Cool. I'll leave
because
my chair.
It's also really nice during your workday to be able to just do a stretch in your chair, to do some movement in the chair. But let's go ahead and stand back up. So we've been sitting, let's go ahead and stand. We'll end in the chair. All right. So the first thing I want you to do is just ground down into your feet and just gently close the eyes and feel your body. Just notice your body first. Then we're going to take our weight and just transfer it slightly to the back half of the foot, and notice the pelvis hanging. So the tailbone is dropping to the ground, and the spine is rising out of the pelvis, stretching up one vertebrae at a time. And then we're going to stack the shoulders over the hips, and we're going to take the chin and we're going to pull it back so the ears are now stacked over the shoulders, which are stacked over the hips, which are stacked over the back half of the foot. I find that when I'm mentally and emotionally out of balance, frazzled, overwhelmed, just bringing the body itself back into a state of alignment brings the mind back into alignment, the emotions back into alignment. So let's take a deep breath in here, stretching this crown of the head up to the ceiling as the hips hang heavy down to the ground. Allowing the lungs to fill in all directions on your inhale. And on your exhale, shoulders and arms and rib cage relax down. One more time, big inhale. And long exhale, or just to release the tension from the body. Good, and gently opening the eyes. Let's inhale and reach the arms up to the sky. Again, stretching long, and we're gonna feel that tailbone dropping down, rooting into the ground as the arms reach up. And we're gonna shrug the shoulders, the ears up the shoulders. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Because many of us hold a lot of tension in the shoulders, and we're gonna squeeze and we're gonna expand that tension. Good, big inhale and exhale. Allow the shoulders to relax down while the arms still are up. Good, one more big in-breath here. And we're gonna exhale and we're gonna clasp the hands behind the back. We're gonna inhale, lift chest, open chest to the ceiling as we reach the hands towards the ground. We're squeezing shoulder blades in and opening the chest. Big inhale here. Exhale, releasing the hands, and inhale, arms to the ceiling once again. Exhale, we're gonna clasp the hands behind the back in this direction that feels funny, the one that feels like, whose hands are those behind me? We roll the shoulders open, drop the hands to the floor. This is an active position. We find our inhale and we lift the chest to the ceiling, expanding open to the rib cage. And in light of this conversation, I really want you to think about opening the heart, opening the lungs, breathing in those new belief patterns that you want to bring in. One more big inhale and exhale. We're going to release the hands by the side. Good. Tuning in again. How does your body feel? And we're going to move into the hips. So the hips hold a lot of emotion. We're going to just take the hips in a little circle here. So I think like I'm scraping the side of a bowl. And there's no magic formula to this. We're just going to think about pushing out and over and back all the edges of this circle. And as we go to the rear, we're going to think about extending the tailbone down and pulling up to the belly. So the lower back is long here. And when you're ready, let's switch directions. And we're just going to feel the hip bones and the thigh bones kind of in that ball and socket joint, just loosening, flowing. As we move through the joints, we're actually sending nutrients in the joints. They don't have blood flow. In order to get nutrients to your cartilage and to your tendons, you need movement. That's how the nutrients flow into those tissues, into the connective tissue. Good. And let's come rewinding back to the center. Good. And we're going to take our hands onto the tops of the thighs, and we're going to take a little seat back, and we're going to push the thighs, and we're going to send energy out the crown of the head, out the tailbone, and we're going to send our low back into a little traction here. The neck is relaxed, just noticing if you're holding tension there, the gaze is to the floor. And you should feel a nice just opening through the low back here. Big inhale and long exhale. We keep pushing on the thighs. On your next exhale, we're going to pull the belly in, release the hands, and roll the spine up one vertebrae at a time. Coming back to that stacked position of ears over shoulders, hips over heels. Feeling the alignment of the body. Knowing that when our body and our mind are in alignment, everything functions better. Good, let's come to our chair. I'm going to do one more little sequence here. And We're going to get some spinal mobility happening. Again, when we move, we're lubricating the joints, we're creating freedom, we're creating nutrients, we're nourishing the body. So let's go ahead and put the hands on the knees, and we're going to inhale, and we're going to lift the chest forward, extending through the spine, looking to the ceiling if that feels comfortable for you. And then we're going to exhale, tuck the chin, tuck the tailbone, and pull the belly back and curl the spine. Inhale, lift chest, looking to the ceiling. And exhale, curl, tuck chest, tuck chin, tuck tailbone. And here you can even use your hands on your knees to lean back into that stretch. Inhale, lift chest. Good. Exhale, curl. And you can go on your own time. Inhale, lift chest. But we really want to think about full inhale, full exhale. Pushing all the air out and then filling the lungs with fresh air. Good. And exhale. On your next inhale, we're going to come forward. We're going to keep that air in and really use the hands and pull the chest through the hands, opening through the heart. Good. And exhale, releasing back to center. Ooh, nice. Let's inhale, reach the hands up to the ceiling. Good. And we're going to exhale, twist the left. So right hand comes to left knee, and then our back arm can either come to the chair, it can reach around the side, or it can grab the chair behind. Whatever feels good to you. We're just going to come into a gentle spinal twist here. Good. We're going to inhale, lift crown of head to ceiling, feeling that length and space to the spine. And here we're going to drop the right ear to the right shoulder. You should feel a nice stretch through shoulder and neck here. This is really great to do during your workday. Releasing that tension from your neck and shoulders. We inhale, lifting spine tall, and exhale, release shoulders down. One more big inhale here. And on your exhale, we'll gently come back to center. Inhale, reaching the arms high to the sky. Exhale, twist. Right hand comes to knee, and then we weave the back hand behind. Again, you can use the chair here to help increase your twist, or you can just have the arm relaxed. We inhale, stretching the spine tall, and exhale, ear to shoulder. And you can play with the angle of your head here, maybe taking the chin down, or maybe exploring and taking the chin towards the ceiling. And you find your best shoulder and neck stretch here. As we inhale, we lengthen the spine. Belly is gently pulling in. And on the exhale, the shoulders release down. And we take one more big inhale. And we're going to exhale, slowly coming back to center. Let's take the feet wide here. We're going to inhale, stretch the spine tall, and then we're going to exhale and come forward. And I invite you to use your hands to help support your body if that works for you. Or if it feels good, we're going to go ahead and bring the hands all the way to the floor. Now, when you do this on your own, you're welcome to have supports for your hands. So you could have a stool here, or yoga blocks, or another chair. So today, either hands on knees or hands to the ground. And we allow the head to release and let go. Crown of head is heavy to the ground. Allowing everything just completely let go and relax. We slow down the breath, feeling the stretch through maybe the inner thigh, maybe the hips, checking in with low back, making sure everything feels good. And I want you to notice here where you're holding excess tension. Are your shoulders relaxed? Is the head heavy? Maybe you give your head a little yes and a little no emotion, completely releasing shoulders and head to the earth.
Breathing into the hips, noticing if you're holding tension there. We take one last big inhale here. And on your exhale, we're going to exhale through the mouth and just we release all excess tension. And now on your next exhale, we'll slowly roll up one vertebrae at a time. Belly pulls in. You can use your hands to help. Articulating all the way up the spine. The head is the very last thing to rise. And gently closing the eyes, feeling now the shoulders stacked over the hips, ears stacked over the shoulders. Big inhale, expanding ribs open in all directions. And exhale, releasing shoulders and rib cage. Inhaling peace, harmony, healing, whatever word works for you. And exhaling anything that's no longer serving you. One last breath here. And gently, when you're ready, opening the eyes. Thank you for playing with me. And now Janell is going to take us complete our journey today.
So while we are in, oh, my body's feeling good too, Emily. I just have to tell you, that felt great. Now we're going to just that feeling that we have and are holding in our bodies right now. I'm just going to invite you to, with your eyes open, your eyes closed. I see it better with my eyes closed, to just feel or see yourself on a red chair. I'm going to set and take you and walk you through a grounding exercise. You just opened your body up. You loosened your body up. Now let's just take ourselves to ground. Ground all that we let go of, let it go into that red chair. So visualize and see yourself on that red chair. Nice. Take a deep breath in. Hold it for 3, 2, 1. Now let it out. As you let it out, let that breath go through your person and down into that red chair. Nice. We're going to set that red chair somewhere that is beautiful to you. If you like the mountains, set that red chair in the mountains. If you like valleys with a creek running in it, meadows, you like the ocean, find your place that's beautiful to you and set your red chair there. Feel and hear the sounds that you would feel and hear in that beautiful place. See yourself sitting and feel your sit bones on that red chair. Nice. Now let that red chair sink a little bit into the dirt. It can be a stool, it can be a chair, it's your picture. Let it sink into the ground a little bit. Take your breath in. Hold it. 3, 2, 1. Exhale. Down into your body. Let that air go down into ground. Again, breathe up, breathe in. Big breath, hold. 3, 2, 1. Exhale and let it exhale down through your body and through that chair into ground. Nice. Now I'm going to invite you to just feel the sun on your face. Feel any breeze that might be blowing. Feel that feeling and let it come into your body as you take a deep breath in. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Exhale and let that body just go and flow through your body, entire body, and into ground. Again, you're going to feel that sun on your face. Feel the breeze and let that feeling come deep into your body as you take a deep breath in. 3, 2, 1. Now let that feeling saturate your body as you let your exhale. Let it flow into ground. Beautiful. Wrap your body and your person in love. If love is a color, let it be a color. Let that love be sparkly if sparkle works for you, and let it just wrap around you. Sometimes people see flowers and they just wrap themselves and cover themselves in beautiful flowers. Sometimes it's pink. There's no rules, but just let that love surround you. As we take this deep breath in, this is the last time, last one. We'll take it in and we're just going to let that love absorb into our bodies. Deep breath in. Hold it. 3, 2, 1. Now let it out and let that love absorb into your body. All the way through your body. Oh, we better do another one. One more deep breath in. Let that love absorb in. 3, 2, 1. Well, let it just saturate and fill every cell and down to ground. Beautiful. Thank you. You can do this meditation, put yourself on your red chair any time of the day. You get a little bit anxious or feel a little bit tight, grounding, you've been using your mind a lot. Our minds are electric factories, literally. So being able to just sit on that red chair in a space that is beautiful to you allows you to just ground all that excess energy, take it, reset your body with breath, and it's a new start.
That was so beautiful. Thank you, Janell.
Mhm.
I love the practice, right? We move and we ground. And so much of the movement as well, I find for people who have a hard time meditating or finding that grounded space, for me, and I think many people, and it's actually what yoga was made for, was to prepare the body for meditation, right? So what a beautiful combination.
Yeah, it felt good. Felt good. Yeah, thank you. That was really fun.
Yes, and thank you if you're listening, like for actually participating and playing with us. That is the key, right? You can't just listen. You gotta do the doing. You gotta be the being, right? Whether we're grounding. So wonderful. So how I would love to share with people how they can, if you're called to, reach out, how they can connect with you, Janell, and how people can connect with me. Janell, how can people connect with you?
You can find me a couple places. So you can find me on Facebook and with Janell Workentine, or please send me an email. I would like to know your thoughts and what you learned from us, or add your thoughts. What could you add to this conversation? I'd love to hear it. So an email to me is theintuitiveway.easy@gmail.com. And we can post that in the the feed and get that to you as well. So I would love to connect with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. And we will post all of these.
How can people find you, Emily, and contact you?
You can go to my website, freedom-training. Excuse me. That was my old website.
I do that too.
freedom-body.com. And I have a couple things coming up as well. So on the 25th, I'm going to start a hip and hamstring opening workshop. So this one will be a little different than my past ones. So it's a challenge, and we will be realigning hips, hamstrings, and low back. So if you have any low back stiffness, hip stiffness, stiff hamstrings, this is for you for sure. And we work on inner core work. And then I am really, really excited about a huge project that I'm working on that will be launching at the end of May. So it's going to be a 4-month program, and it is a holistic health program. So I will be happy to share with people more about that. And I second Janell. You'll maybe on Facebook listening to this or seeing the recording. Leave comments, like give us feedback and email us and let us know your thoughts and your questions and your additions and what you want to see more of, because we're here to serve. We're here to serve you all. Like, it's fun for us to do this. And in the end, we're both in a place of really coming from the heart, really wanting to help people live the lives that they were meant to, you know, the happiness, the harmony, the authentic higher self, well-being on all levels. And, you know, if this feels like a path to a piece to your puzzle, we really want to hear from you, right? We're here.
We are here. And I'm doing a 3-day, sorry, I had 4 days on my mind, a 3-day webinar, Emily, on just really find, how do you identify your own blocks? So I will share those links with our audience as well. It's coming up on April 29th. It's a 3 days, 1 hour block. So it's digestible. I don't have the attention span to go beyond that. So if I can't do it, I'm not going to expect anybody else to do it. So 1 hour blocks, the 29th, the 30th, and May 1st. And I'll share that information, but we're going to dive in and take a look at how do you find those blocks? How do we remove those blocks? And hot seats and people really talk and help people on site go, okay, what is your block? And let me walk with you and help you find that, and we'll help that remove. So it works together, doesn't it? It's just beautiful. Ditto. I just echo that we're here to serve, and we're really excited to connect with you and other events and discussions. So we'll see you again.
Yes. Awesome. I'm a big high fiver. So it just humor me, everybody. Let's give everybody a big high five to our camera. Boom. Awesome.
I can do that.
Thank you so much. And we will see you all again. Have a wonderful, blessed, beautiful day.